Those 22 processes are all about calibrating from where you are to a better place. That's what every process is. Yeah. When you are in the mode of appreciating, you are calibrated to all of your power. This is exactly what we're talking about already here. I want this, but it isn't here yet. So how do I calibrate to its presence when its absence is so obvious to me? So here we are in this moment, deciding that we're going to calibrate together. And let's begin the calibration process. Let's start general, because that feels better to you. So we know these thoughts just come into your mind. We know that you're obsessed with them. Well, there is a thought momentum, a vibrational momentum. We can't tell you, stop thinking like that, and expect you to stop. Momentum is a real thing. Momentum is law of attraction already in motion. And so don't ask yourself to abruptly stop. What you're wanting to do is just to gently change your trajectory. And so there are a few things we want to say about this. First, you can't not think about it because of that momentum. That's what we mean. But you could catch yourself thinking about it. And if you're willing, you could gradually calibrate it. That's what all those processes are about. But we'll do some really effective ones here in a moment with you. But now something will be different for you than has been before, because we've had this concentrated conversation. And the thing that we most want you to understand, all of you, is that this is calibration. This is calibrating to your power, to your highest good, to your feeling of clarity, to your feeling of who you really are. It's to cause you in your physical form to be a more consistent point of attraction to what you want. The law of attraction is the manager of this universe, and you are emanating signals all the time, and the law of attraction is responding to the signal that you are emanating. So your intention now is to calibrate yourself into alignment with who you really are. Sometimes we've encouraged this over time. Get off that subject and get on another subject. It's easy to do that, really, and to calibrate. You can calibrate as you go. That's one way of going about it. Or, and what we really mean is and, or do both. If you'll get out ahead of it, if you'll start your day by basking about something that you sincerely feel good about, if you'll tune into who you really are, if you'll meditate first and quiet your mind, then you have a much better chance during the day of having some effectiveness with your calibration. Now, we have said to you before, you don't have to go back and clean up anything, because usually you're just activating the vibration and keeping it going longer, like forever, for your whole life experience. But if it's something that consumes you and keeps coming up, and when it does, it feels bad, then this is not going to be something that you can just forget about. This is something that you got to clean up. And as you start cleaning it up, we'll show you how. What usually happens is other things like it will show themselves to you also. And as those other things like it show themselves to you also, and you deliberately calibrate around them, it doesn't take very long before you've really adjusted your point of attraction, and you have not left your vibration where you last left it. It's in a new place, which means everything around that subject will respond differently to you. This is a lovely experience that you get to live. You're molding the clay of your life. You get to deliberately think and then watch what happens, and deliberately think and watch what happens, and then not deliberately think and notice something that happens, and then decide you're going to start deliberately thinking about that, and then watch what happens. You're going to get yourself in the driver's seat. You're going to begin to feel control of your own life experience. You're going to understand that the law of attraction is a real thing. The law of attraction is responding to your frequency. People say, yeah, I'm just learning to use the law of attraction. And we say, the same way you're learning to use gravity. So now, take your notebook and just write the situation that's the hot topic. We understand the feeling, but what was the thought that caused the feeling? Because there's always a thought. And then just make a few brief statements about it. And we wouldn't write more than 4 or 5 statements. You're identifying where you're at. In fact, you're just speaking openly about what you are recognizing is your point of attraction. Some would call it a release. It isn't a release, it's an activation. It didn't get smaller, it got bigger as you wrote it. But instead here, you've decided that you're going to calibrate. So you reread your statement and you reach for something that feels better. Reach for how your inner being sees it. There's a momentum in it, but you can situate yourself within it in a way that works for you instead of against you. Does that make sense? All right, so a good conversation.